Spoke with a local mother who's been through the IVF process before. And Ashlyn, how does she feel about this order?
Well, Anise and Cameron, she agrees IVF is expensive for many families, and she hopes the order will address insurance coverage, as many insurance companies don't fully cover IVF. 1 year ago, the Alabama Supreme Court ruled in a landmark decision that frozen embryos are children. The decision came after a wrongful death suit was filed by a couple whose frozen embryos were destroyed at the Center for Reproductive Medicine in Mobile. The lawsuit was later dismissed. The ruling led CRM and many fertility clinics across the state to temporarily close their doors because of litigation concerns for destroying an embryo, whether accidental or not. Heather Huff, a local mom, remembers that day vividly.
I just felt so sorry for the moms or the women that were, there were some that had gone through all of that medication because it is a process. You have to take medication weeks ahead of time.
The following month, the Alabama state legislature passed a bill to give IVF programs immunity from civil and criminal liability. While Huff was not affected by the high-profile ruling, she went through IVF in 2019, eventually giving birth to her baby boy.
We use the Center for Reproductive Medicine here in Mobile. I could never, ever thank Dr. K and his staff enough for giving us our little boy.
This week, President Trump signed an executive order to expand access to IVF. The order says it will focus on addressing current policies that make IVF too expensive. It says policy recommendations will be made and submitted in the next 90 days. The order states the cost of IVF ranges from $12,000 to $25,000. And more often than not, those treatments aren't fully covered by health insurance.
It is very expensive. What people don't always tell you is that those expenses are just for the actual procedures, and your medication can cost thousands more, depending on if your insurance company pays for any of it.
But Huff says she's not so sure if lowering the cost of IVF is the answer.
I don't know that lowering the actual cost of it would help. And the thing about it is that most people don't know, it depends on the technology that the lab is using. So CRM, they use the latest and greatest technology, and they have a much higher success rate than a lot of the cheaper ones. So my fear is that if it's more affordable, what is that going to do to the labs?
Instead, she hopes more insurance companies will provide coverage for IVF and more businesses will offer those health plans to their employees.
I think they need insurance that's going to cover it. I know one of the companies that does cover IVF is Starbucks. And so they're on several of the IVF pages that I'm on Facebook. There will be people that quit their jobs and go work at Starbucks just so they can get IVF treatment covered.
Now, according to Alabama Fertility, IUI and IVF treatments are not covered by most Alabama-based insurance carriers. Reporting live in studio, Ashley Mitchell, Fox 10 News.